Hey fish friends, how's it going? Hope you're doing well. My name is Zenzo from Tazawa Tanks. I get a lot of questions from a lot of viewers, whether it be on Instagram or Facebook or through YouTube, a lot of messages asking me about breeding African cichlids. I do breed African cichlids, I do sell them to stores locally, and I do have kind of a breeding program downstairs. So I thought I would kind of talk a little bit about how I breed African cichlids. It's not necessarily the only way to do it. There are a lot of different methods. There are some really good breeders out there. I'm just going to share with you guys a very simple way that I have found to breed Africans that works for me, and I'm able to get hundreds and hundreds of fish using this method and grow them out and then sell them to the stores. So before I jump into the topic, I do want to address a couple things. A lot of you have commented about kind of the fact that this channel has drifted away from African cichlids. African cichlids was kind of the nucleus of the channel. And what I will share with you is that I have 35 fish tanks, and I have African cichlids in a lot of those, but it doesn't mean that that's the only thing that I'm interested in. And as I kind of explore the hobby and get deeper and deeper into the hobby, I am going to continue to explore different areas of the aquarium hobby and try different things. And if I feel like making a video, I will film that video and I'll share it with you. Be it my saltwater, my nano reef tank, or my planet tank, or my mud skippers, which have been very popular with a lot of you. They're my most watched videos, or aquaponics, or whatever it may be. I'll just, if I feel like talking about it, if I feel like sharing, I will pick up a camera and start filming and make a video about it. So what I will say is, yes, I do have a lot of African cichlids. I've made a lot of videos about African cichlids, and I will continue to keep and make videos about them, but it's not the only thing that I do. And I hope that you can understand that, you know, this is just kind of fun for me. I like to be creative, I like to do different things, experiment. Some of you don't like some of my newer videos, and some of you love them. What I will share is that my newer videos get a lot more views than my older videos because I think more people are finding interest in some of the things that I'm doing with my Oscars and mud skippers and things like that. So anyway, enough of that rant. All I will say is that, you know, I'm just going to do what I do, and if you don't like it, you know, that's okay. You can give it a thumbs down or, you know, check in another time. But I will, you know, always make videos about African cichlids, but I'm not going to only make videos about African cichlids. But anyway, I'll talk a little bit about breeding. What I did is probably like 6 weeks ago, or longer than that even, is maybe about 8 weeks ago, I don't know, I decided to make this video. So I went through the process of getting everything set up, which I will take you guys through here shortly, where I took a male African cichlid and put that male in my female tank. I've got a female only 40 breeder, and let them do their thing, and then I separated the female. So I'll kind of walk you through the process and share with you guys how I bred them and how I breed them, and this is something I continually do, and hopefully you guys you know, might get a tip from it, or you know, maybe you don't like it, but I did want to share with you how I do it because so many of you asked me. So here are all my females. I keep them separate in 40-gallon tanks just so that they can kind of have their own life until they are ready to spawn with the male. Down here, these are a couple of 55-gallon grow-out tubs that I use. And I've made films about this before. I've filmed this before. But basically, I use these for growing out fish that I'm going to sell. But I also keep fish in there that I'm going to breed. The male that I want to breed for this video is down in this tub, so I've got to make sure that the water is still, so I move these sponge filters out so that there isn't any bubbles, and I can find the fish and catch him and put him in with the females. So here he is, there he is. It's that nice red and blue peacock. You know, I don't line breed, so I can't say specifically what he is. He could be, you know, German red, ruby red, Eureka red, whatever you want to call him, part red shoulder. Anyway, he's just a beautiful blue and red male peacock, and that's what I'm using. So anyway, I put him in this tank. He's probably thinking, what is going on? You pulled me out of my tub and you put me in this tank, and I don't know these fish. He doesn't realize yet that they're all ladies. So they are super curious. What will happen is they'll kind of chase him around and follow him around to kind of see what's going on. But, you know, they're kind of like, you know, young ladies chasing a rock star. That's kind of the same kind of thing. So anyway, he's kind of confused. Once he kind of gets his bearing, once he kind of gets acclimated to his surroundings, The water's the same, so there isn't any acclimation process there. Temperature, everything's the same, but just, new environment, new scenery, things like that. So once he gets comfortable, he'll start to flare out and kind of act like a male will act. So you can see here that he's kind of flaring out his fins and showing some more color. Down below, this is just another 40 breeder that I use to grow out fish and sell fish. So anyway, now that he's on full display, he will spawn with a female. I didn't capture the spawning process, but basically what will happen is he'll kind of dust off an area. The female will come by, lay eggs. He will fertilize those eggs, and then she will pick those eggs up with her mouth, and she will hold those eggs in her mouth until the eggs hatch, and there are baby fish swimming around inside of her mouth. Baby fish are called fry. Here we can see a female with a mouthful of eggs. You can tell by the bottom of her jaw that it's distended, meaning that it's like it's a full mouth, like she's holding her breath and it's kind of sticking out down below. There's another one, the same kind of look. It's very easy to tell a female who's holding because they won't open their mouth really, and it will look like they're holding their breath. They've got like a mouthful of food almost. So here, this is another female holding. She's an OB. So the good thing is that both of these females ended up holding right around the same time, so it's very easy for me to time everything. Then what I'll do is I'll put them in their own 10-gallon tank. They're not eating, so that's plenty of water for them, plenty of filtration, and they will just kind of sit out and hang out until their fry are hatched and spit out. So in this case, it's about 4 weeks or so, give or take, depending on a couple of things, temperature, etc. But basically, after about 4 weeks of time, the fish are ready to be out on their own. You can either let the female naturally spit them out, and sometimes I let them do that, but ultimately what I found to be a little bit more effective is to catch the female, hold her in a net underwater very gently, and then take a paper clip and use the rounded portion of the paper clip to gently open her mouth, and then all the fish will swim out of her mouth, all the fry will swim out of her mouth. So then they are free swimming, and then they're hungry, so you'll have to start feeding them fry food. So there are a lot of different foods that you can use. I like to use crushed up flake food. I find it to be very easy and readily available, obviously, and they can eat it right away. So that's what I use. I just use a crushed up tropical flake, and it provides all the nutrients that they need and allows them to grow. So here you can see there's a lot of them. There's probably, I don't know, I didn't count, but easily 30 plus in each tank. And what I'll do is I will let them stay in here while they're small, and then as they grow larger, I will start to split them out and put them in different tanks so that they can grow out in different tanks. So eventually I'll split them up into maybe 15 or 18, and then when they get a little bit bigger, I'll split them up until around 8 or 10, and then when they get larger, I will put them in a larger tank, either a 40 breeder or the 90-gallon grow out tank. Now here we can see in this shot, there's a bunch of peacocks. These are all probably around, I don't know, 4 to 5 months old, give or take, maybe a little bit longer, maybe a little bit less, but right around 4 to 5 months old. You can see that some of the males are starting to show color, but some of them have not shown color yet. So usually it takes around 5+ months for them to show color. Some of them it takes a little bit longer. And then eventually they will look just like these guys, well, like the one up top there with the red shoulder, kind of that color, or the OB, the orange blotch. And it takes, a good 10+ months before they really start to show some brilliant colors like these fish. So anyway, that's the breeding process that I run them through. Pretty simple, very easy to do, and that's it. So there you have it. That's how I do my breeding program. It is relatively simple. Again, for me, I'm not breeding selective fish like a line breeding thing. I might breed, multiple different looking fish because for the most part, most fish stores just care about having colorful males. They're not looking for specific lines. So I would say that if you are, wanting to do some line breeding, you definitely should look into that. I think that there's a huge place for that in the hobby to preserve some of the species that we have. It's just not what I do, and I have done that in the past with some other fish. I've done that with yellow laps and things like that, but it's not what I'm doing right now. Anyway, I hope you like this video. For those of you that like African cichlids or have been asking me to make a video about Africans again, hopefully you enjoyed this video. And for those of you that had questions about breeding or wanted to know how I do it, then hopefully this was informative for you guys. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. As always, I appreciate you guys watching. Don't forget to hit that subscription button, subscribe to the channel, so that way you will be notified when I upload new videos. Make sure you hit that notification bell, otherwise it might get lost in the feed. And again, if you like fish tanks, mostly freshwater, one saltwater, where I'll do videos about Oscars and guppies and mud skippers and puffers and all kinds of stuff, then stick around and watch more videos. That's all I had for now. Thanks for watching. We'll catch you on the next one.